Hello, Aries. Thank you very much for tuning into your love read. For the main part of the read, I'm using The Witch's Tarot by Ellen Dugan. I'm going to stutter on that, apparently. And Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacey DeMarco for the supportive cards. I think the coffee's kicking in. Whee! Okay. Relationship first, single second. Oracle cards come out where needed. Ooh, the lovers are at the bottom. The lovers are at the bottom. I actually... something's going on here. I literally think you're heading for a fight with your partner, but it's like a verbal fight, and Aries can hold their own with that. I don't know. Some Aries like to fight. Other Aries are just kind of like, you know what, if it needs to happen, it needs to happen. But they're not really fettered by it. And I'm wondering if, like, it seems like that's the energy I'm getting here. It's like, well, if we're fighting it out, at least we're working it out. But it's like an argument is coming. You don't seem like you're really knocked over by it. It's kind of like somebody's just explaining something to you very loudly and energetically. You're like, all right, well, you need to tell me, so there we go. You're just not... I almost think like part of this is like to let you know that this person is trying, like they're upset and they're coming at you in that way, and you're just like, I don't know, you're not really getting upset about it. You're just kind of like, all right, well, at least you told me. I just feel a very like, all right, yeah, okay. Now, it's interesting because there's a lot of good going on here. I get that. Let's start with, like, there's a lot of energy coming back. I'm getting, like, centered on this argument, but we haven't gotten there yet, so I'm going to try to pull it back a little bit. Because it starts off where things are good. Your partner's very happy. You move forward with some information. They seem to hear this information, but they're not, it's just not resonating. Like, it's not really making its impact. It's almost like things like, you're telling them flat out what's coming forward. This is how this is all starting, by the way. You're telling them what's coming forward. They don't seem bothered by it. Like, you're literally telling them. I think it's like you're telling them, yeah, there's going to be a blue bus coming soon, and we're going to get on that. Okay, blue bus coming. And it's like you're telling them, like, there's a blue bus coming. We're going to get on it. And you're like, oh, okay. They're like, oh, yeah. But they're not really thinking about, like, there's a blue bus you're going to be getting on soon. Like, it's like they're not really, like, they heard it, but they didn't really compute it. They didn't really absorb it. So it's kind of like when it finally comes forward, the Ace of Swords comes forward. Like you said what was going to happen, it does happen. The hunger comes in because your partner seems to be a little bit like, what? And you're like, what do you mean what? I told you. This is what throws everything off. I literally feel, it's weird that the wheel is the one explaining this, but the wheel, the tower, the Five of Cups right behind it there, it's like you did tell them. I feel like you told them, but they just weren't connecting the dots to what that meant or something, because when it does come in, it just kind of throws them off. The wheel turns, the tower hits, they're upset, because like, what's going on? What do you mean? It's almost like for some of you, you said you were going to sell the house, and now that you have a buyer, they're like, what? What do you mean you have a buyer? For what? The house? We're moving? What are you talking about? Like, it's almost like that's going on. And you're like, we talked about this. Well, I thought it was a consideration. I didn't think it was actually happening today. Yeah, it's. I feel like you did tell them, though, but they just weren't paying attention or something. And now, like, I feel like you're trying to be a little bit accommodating to this, because you're not trying to railroad anybody. You're like, I told you about this. This is happening now. And I see you kind of, like, trying to give them a chance to catch up. Like, you're kind of like, all right, well, it's still happening, but, you know, take a minute to get yourself together, because we're doing this. You got the Page of Swords here, kind of like, you're kind of just pulling back a little bit. You got beauty in the path. You're letting them kind of catch up on their own, but you're kind of like, you're kind of pulling back, like, do you not listen to me when I talk? Like, it's one of those feelings. Like, are you not hearing me when I tell you things? You're giving to the situation, and I get that. But I feel like their challenge card is to really be bewildered. Their challenge card is the moon card. I feel like there's a possibility they could be bewildered, just kind of like off, like what is happening, almost kind of like totally in a fog. Like, what are you talking about? The challenge card for them is the moon card, especially if this is coming to you before this is actually happening, before the moment is actually happening. You want to make sure your partner understands what you're telling them. You want to keep them more like on point with that. Make sure they're looking you in the eye. You might want to have them repeat it back to you. Like, we're selling the house. Can you say that back to me? We're selling the house, so I know you're hearing me. Like, we're selling the house. Something like that, because I feel like that's what's going on. There's a lot going on. They're having a good time or something. It doesn't feel like there's a negative energy with that, but I just feel like they're not really connecting. It's like the information's there, but it's just kind of like sitting on the table. It's kind of like, oh yeah, it's there on the table. Read it. You need to read the information. They need to read it. The Four of Swords on your side is to be careful not to bully this through. Because some of you will be a little annoyed with this and just keep going through and just kind of ignore their reaction. Be careful of that. That could cause problems. Either way, you're coming forward to an argument is what I'm getting. Because I feel like you're either way you're going to keep pushing this forward. It's just the way you push it forward. You know, communicate with them more, try to wake them up, like, come on, we have to go, like, I told you about this, like, keep them engaged. If you just kind of move on your own and, like, have the attitude of, like, well, they'll catch up when they catch up, it just makes more of a mess that you're just literally going to have to clean up later anyway. You don't want to do that. Because I'm seeing, like, you have all these possibilities in front of you, and you're balancing things, you're looking like this would work, that would not, I'm going to take this, I'm going to leave that, this is what I want, this is what I don't want. Your partner has the Five of Wands. Like, they're gonna be difficult a little bit. I feel them a little bit argumentative, but I feel like they're connected with the situation at this point. So since they're actively involved, I really don't see it bothering you. I just don't see you getting upset about it. They're coming at you with an argumentative energy. They're cranky. They're not happy about this change. Now that they realize what's actually happening and they're woken up. They've woken up to what's going on. I can spit it out. They are a little bit more defensive, cranky, hard to get along with. I don't see you bothered by it. You're just like, all right, well, at least you're engaged. Well, let's keep going. Let's talk this out because we're moving forward. We're selling the house. So once that moment happens, the two of you together move together with this energy. Together you create the King of Wands energy. Big changes happen. Things move forward. Whatever needs to happen, it's just going to happen at this point. When they're finally engaged, they're going to be a little bit hard to deal with. I'm saying that over and over again, but then again, the Lover's card is here. I feel like they're more upset because it's going so fast. To them, it's going so fast, but I feel like you're just kind of like, well, we're going to keep going. And as long as you keep communicating with them and keep them going, you hear them. I feel you hearing them is not a problem. I feel you hearing them is not at all a problem. But I just feel you keep moving forward. I just don't see you really like upset about what they're saying. Anything else with this? I think we're good with this. It will move, like everything goes better, but it's interesting because you're going forward to like this argument, but I literally don't feel you upset about it. It's just kind of like, well, at least you're engaged now. At least you're paying attention. That's what I'm getting from it. All right, let's do Aries single. Let's not overanalyze it. Let's go into Aries single. Single Aries. What do we have for single Aries? Single Aries. Single Aries. What's going on for single Aries? The first thought I keep popping into the mind. Nope, words aren't going to work right now. So let's just put up the cards because I am getting something with like the why not. Like, why not? But I don't know if that's really going to hit just yet, especially with my words not working. We'll see as it keeps going. It's possible. Is there somebody coming towards you or not really? Or is there somebody, well, there's something going on here. Something. It's just not, I don't see a lot really. I don't feel a lot. there's a reluctance in the environment. Like, I don't see a lot going on in the environment here. I feel like old acquaintances. Like, you got the Eight of Swords in the past. You got the Hanged Man in the environment. Like, I feel like you're stuck with the same type of group of people for some reason. It's the same choices. Anything new, you don't really want, or it's just not really. It's just not really on the table. I'm getting a lot of past influence here. Past influence that I don't really think you want to bring in. You got the Queen of Pentacles at the top, the World at the bottom. I feel like these are past connections. People that maybe you had some physical connection with and you can still have some physical fun with, but you know that you don't want to build something with. Or vice versa. Maybe you have a emotional connection with these people, but you're not looking to bring anything physical into it. It's one or the other. Because I'm getting this past connection, people who are still around you that you don't want a relationship with, but it's either one or the other. There's a good connection physically and emotionally there's not, or vice versa. And I'm seeing like you're kind of like, I don't want to do that. Like, I already know that's not for me. I know these selections are not for me. And you got the Knight of Swords with the Empress in the center, which is telling me somebody, and don't get caught up in the gender with this one, but somebody is kind of communicating towards you and thinking maybe there's another chance here. I feel like this is somebody who's genuinely interested in you, but either one way or the other, it's not connecting for you, but they are interested in you, and they want to see if they can make something happen with you. And I'm seeing them kind of come towards you, and I actually see you kind of like with the Temperance card, like, well, maybe. This is where the why not pops in, like with the Temperance card. Like, why not? Like, there's nothing else around. I mean, why not? I feel that energy, like, why not? Just hang out. I guess we could hang out. I mean, it doesn't have to go too far. It does seem to come together, but it's the Three of Pentacles I'm noticing with the pleasure. You have to keep it defined a certain way. Like, this person coming towards you, you do hang out with them is what I'm getting. The Three of Pentacles, though, is like you're working to keep your boundaries defined. And I'm getting the pleasure, like, it's a lot of fun, but it's kind of like you're also making very diligent effort to not let it blur the lines so that they don't get the wrong idea. We can hang out, we can have a good time hanging out, but I don't want to I don't want to go too far and make this look like it's more than it actually is. This person seems to be hanging out or trying to hang out with you continually after that. And I feel like this is going to be, for those of you this matches with, this is going to be more of a, like, literally it could go either way. I get that. It's more physical or it's more emotional. Whichever connection you have, you're enjoying that. Like, if literally this is a physical thing, you're like, that's great, but I don't want anything else besides that. Or if it's an emotional thing, it's like, that's great, but I don't want anything else besides that. The Five of Cups keeps going forward where you like this person for the aspect you connect on, but as you keep going forward, you're like, I can't keep doing this. I feel like you're going to have to disconnect from this one again. The focus is like, you're going to realize that this is going to become more than I want it to if I don't nip this in the bud, because I don't want this to become like a partnership. I don't want this to happen like that, but the way I'm going about this and hanging out with this person, they're going to think that's where we're going. And I need to change this. I need to change what's happening. I need to reroute the situation. I do feel like this is a situation that'll be short-lived, and you'll probably stall it out again. I feel like the whole point of this reading is like, maybe you don't really want to do this, because I feel like it's going to be a little stressful for you. Kind of like, yeah, I'm going to have to kind of push this back again, and you're not looking to make anybody feel bad. And this person's good enough. They're nice enough, but either one side or the other is not there for you, and you're like, this isn't going to work. You're going to end up pushing this one back again. All right, I think we're there. All right, I'm going to shut that down there. I hope that helps. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.